Hello, ladies and gents. It's been a while. I'm going to try and condense this because honestly, it's my cat. So, a lot of BPDs are called high functioning BPDs if they are able to, instead of like self harming all the time and like being a hot mess, like if you're in recovery basically because you're half normal, you're known as a high functioning BPD. Let me explain to you why that is 1,000,000% bullshit. Such as a high functioning BPD is known as like someone who can walk around and overcompensate how happy they are, or like they're fine and this and that, and basically it's a mask until all of a sudden them feeling worthless, or oh my god, my cat is causing so much trouble, like the feelings of worthlessness or blah blah blah, shame about themselves, all that, until that resurfaces, basically. So you're high functioning until that happens, or that you're a normal human being, because again, I really get upset when you guys get down on yourselves because you have an off day. Go ahead and tell me that you've dated somebody who claims to be a normal person and they don't have an off day. Like, no. So that's bullshit. However, also, if you all of a sudden have this mask where you can be fine and then all of a sudden you're not, yeah, that's not a mask. Actually, that's step-by-step recovery, because this comes from the same fucking people who preach how long it takes for us to recover and that it's not going to happen overnight. Funny, it doesn't happen overnight. However, learning to express your feelings into mouth words so that you can actually deal with them is a step in moving forward. And acknowledging, hey, I'm having an off day, is a step in moving forward. And that, my friends, is recovery. Just because sometimes you have a day where you feel, I don't know, any bad thing, you don't get a new label in being a borderline. No, you don't get a new label for it. The fuck? No. You're human. Anyways, alright, so getting into that. God, I always babble before I get to my points. You guys, why don't you hate me? Alright, here it is. Anyways, it's going to lead into relationships. But I think a huge thing, because it starts off, I had always known that I was different from when I was little. And it kills me because my daughter shows signs of this as well. Borderline actually can run in families. However, I think that hers will be easily averted. Not that she has it. I'm saying any. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to be borderline if you show certain things of borderline. That's like we're all fucking depressed because we're all tired and don't want to go to work. Like, again, another thing I hate. Anyways, what I mean is she shows a lack of confidence, and I think that she needs to be in more sports. She needs to participate with more people who don't know her, because she's afraid to approach strangers, because she thinks that they're going to like be mean to her because she's been bullied in her school, or they're going to think she's weird. So she just doesn't talk to people, and everybody thinks she's a snob. But in reality, she just has the ego of a meathead, and she feels like everybody's going to hate her. So I remember just feeling like that all the time when I was a kid, and it kept me from doing everything, because unfortunately I came in from a household where you sat in your room all day. There wasn't I didn't have like the soccer mom, you know what I mean, that like takes you to all these like things to be social and grow confidence as a child. I feel like I see her giving up on new things. Like she just started cheering, and I'll see her just like drop down towards the back because she doesn't practice enough. So therefore she wasn't like immediately good at something. So since somebody else was better than her, she feels like she's just not good at it. Do you know what I mean? So that lack of confidence, you have to remind yourself, okay, somebody doesn't fucking just all of a sudden pick up a guitar and the next day they're on stage jamming out. Like, these are things that I know are really hard in BPD, because I'm years into recovery. I get it. So I want to tell you guys that it took just years of me getting up and falling down, saying, okay, I hope that guy didn't just crash his truck. Of me getting up and then falling down because I would get discouraged, or I'd study really hard towards something and then I'd just fall off for like a couple weeks or whatever, and it got me nowhere. I would stay in place and linger, and I would get really discouraged because that's me like giving up again. I never finish anything. It took me years to realize, okay, wait, that's an actual thing. Like this is something about myself that I can say, hey, I don't want to do this anymore, so I'm not going to. And it's not, you can't just acknowledge it and all of a sudden, whoo, yay, you're fixed. No, it takes patience. It takes practice, patience with yourself, like so much. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? I wish I could talk to you guys and not a freaking video. So I put key things to at least talk about this time. I'm getting there. So another thing with that confidence, and I'm sure you guys can relate, you know what I'm talking about. Like, you've avoided doing certain things because if you're not great at it, you don't want to look stupid and like whatever. So that goes along with, say when you're in a relationship, or rather when you're single and you go out to a club and all your friends are fucking gorgeous and you feel like you're not as gorgeous as them, for instance. Like my entire life, I've fucking hated my nose. Like to the point where A, I won't be sideways in pictures. B, I've hated it. I used to sit and cry when I was little and I would just hold it down to try and shrink it. Like my goal in life was to have a nose job, just so I could like myself. And it's not just outer appearance either that I'm thinking about. It's like you look at girls and you're like, well, they're so funny. Like, do you know those just like, and I have my moments, don't get me wrong. Like if I'm on a roll and like I just vibe with the people's energy around me, like I go nuts and I'm funny and I like to be around me, and those are the days that I like myself the most. But I'm not that girl all the time, and everybody should understand that. It's harder for me because I'm a super, super empath, which sucks because I vibe 1,000,000% off somebody else's energy. So like, for instance, I'm a server. When I go up to a table, if they're like immediately really, really quiet with me and like passive and like just want me to get out of there, then it's harder for me to, I'm polite, don't get me wrong, but like it's harder than when I go up to a table that's like, oh, hi, how are you today? And like, then we just immediately shoot the shit. You know what I mean? You don't, I don't know. Anyways, so getting back to the point, I focus a lot on, I work off people's energy, but I don't really know how I got to that point for my actual point, because my actual point was about, I hate that, like, I really want to be able to play an instrument on stage and sing my face off, but I don't feel as confident as other girls, so I won't do that yet until I'm ready. Or I've been working out a crap ton lately, but I don't want to go to CrossFit yet because I don't feel like I would make it successfully through a class, and I don't want to look like an idiot. Realistically, I shouldn't expect anybody to go to a CrossFit class their first time and make it through. But I want to, because my ego is that sensitive. It took me years and years and years to be able to handle criticism because I didn't understand that I was so affected by criticism. And then once I realized that, I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense to my reactions. And now I'm able to listen to what people are constructively telling me and apply it. Or they're just being rude and you can just ignore it. However, I wanted this to lead into relationships because, so going along with the wearing a mask, one day we're like 1,000% fine and then all of a sudden we're not. There's two directions this is going to go. One, when we get into a relationship, it's a new relationship, everything's so lovey at first. You love the butterflies. You love when they send you some random cute thing about like, if it's their first text, it's like, I just wish I could see you all the time. You know what I mean? Like the beginning of a relationship, it's crazy, it's ecstatic, it's passionate, it's great. A lot of BPDs are known for the push and pull because that goes away. Like they go from like loving you crazy to then not. And I think a lot of that has to do with empaths because, for instance, something that happened to me that I noticed a lot in my relationships, which is something that I'm learning to actually still figure out how I should deal with, like as an individual, is like, for instance, when I get into a relationship and it's all lovey and like whatever, either it's going to go one way where you have to realize, this is what I'm trying to get you guys to understand, we don't just all of a sudden shut off. Most of the time it can go this way where, I don't know if you're aware, it took me a long time to notice, but now that I do, I wanted to share it, is that everything's lovey, everything's great, everything's awesome, and like they're talking to you extra because they it's new, so they want to see you all the time and this and that. And then the second that you feel like that changes at all, if they're at work now or like having a hard day and they're tired, they're putting less effort, it just, whenever it starts to cool off, because it's not always going to be that intense internally, even if you don't notice it, you are like, okay, they're pulling away. They're pulling away. Like, what if I'm bugging them, or like whatever. You know where I'm going with that. So I think that in all actuality, as soon as they get down a little bit less intense than when you guys were like first whatever, that's when you just, without even noticing, as a BPD, I think we just start to see things that are wrong with that relationship, or what can go wrong, because all of a sudden we don't feel needed, or we feel imperfect, or whatever. We start searching for things that are wrong. Either that, or it goes from the lovey-dovey to, it is us that just all of a sudden backs off, because we have an off day, but then we take that as, we don't know what we want, or like whatever, because you're having an off day. So you want to be alone. And that doesn't always have to do with the other person. It has to do with the fact that if you turn around and look at it and realize we just said that person that you were with isn't as intense all of a sudden. They're not a BPD, they're normal, but that happens because they're tired, because they're working. It's going to happen for you too. You just take it different when it's you doing it. But a lot of that too can have to do with the black and white. If you're still like in your beginning of your recovery, that could very well be black and white, push and pull. You're just starting recovery. So like sometimes you're super, super lovey, and then if you're not lovey, you're busy being like, oh, get away from me, I can't stand you. And you have to work on, that's an individual thing, and that's where we're going to keep working on ourselves here, guys. I just wanted to share this stuff with you because I felt a lot lately, especially with things I've discussed in my life. I feel like it's really important for you guys to remember to just breathe. Just take everything day by day. Like, even if you have a bad day, you have to always remember, okay, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and do it again. And you have to always keep it positive, because how easy is it to lose your temper when you're in a rush? How easy is it to just like give up and like binge on food and like whatever? Those are all the easy ways out. So begin changing yourself for the better, one step at a time. Like, you're going to eat that whole pizza right now and gallon of ice cream because that's going to make you feel better, or you're going to fucking hate yourself after it. Settle for half the pizza. That's a step. I'm not going to lie. You gotta, I feel like we're alive ones. You should probably do that stuff anyways. But if you're doing something that's going to make you unhappy with yourself, just start noticing little things and saying, all right, what's the good choice here for myself? What am I going to feel good about at the end of the day? Little tiny things. And like, for instance, instead of seeing certain situations like I had the glass half empty. You got to see it half full. That whole charade, like, it's so easy to see yourself as a victim of a circumstance, but in reality, like, do you want to waste your time on that? And the same thing with the confidence thing, like, worrying about every little piece of yourself, like my nose, and like, I literally used to just not want to go out with people because I felt fat and I didn't look good in any of my outfits, or like all the things that I would focus on that pretty much absolutely nobody was going to be focusing on. Pretty much, first of all. Second of all, if they are, you don't want them in your fucking life because they probably need more therapy than you do. Second, third, whatever of all, you are alive one time. One time. One of them. Is it seriously worth using your energy to worry so much about what everybody's going to think of you or what you're not good at or whatever? Just be. Because that's good enough. Like, just be here. And breathe, like, a lot. I don't know. Damn it. My videos never come out as effective as they are in my head before I make them. Alright, whatever. I love you guys. I love your messages. Especially, I've had a couple of adorable people just pop up on my Instagram and tell me you discovered my stuff. My Tumblr, I'm sorry. I know I only check it every couple weeks now. I do get your messages. I reply. I'm sure you don't see them because they're anonymous, and then I answer weeks later. I'm on my Instagram like 8 million times a day. It's a problem. So, yeah. I see your stuff, and I appreciate it from here. Again, you can do that thing where you guys all write me shit, comments, messages, asking me to discuss certain things. Pick something. Pick something you'd like to work on yourself, or you need an outsider to say, all right, well, maybe this causes this for you, and maybe you should try this. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's always helpful to have. So, I love you guys. I hope you're doing amazing. If you're not, shit, I almost want to give you my number so you can just text me and I can hopefully make you smile. I don't know. That's it.